That's dope. Yeah, it's the little intricacies that really like stand.
Because that's what makes you who you are. That's what makes you different.
Yeah.
Feel me? So like, I actually like when the things that a chick is insecure about herself.
But do you make her feel better about it, or do you just like?
Well, I'm not about to be like, yo, you have a big head, like,
and then make fun of it.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah, you're an asshole.
But the thing is, I do it in a loving way.
How is that loving?
Because like you gently bully them. Like, listen, I know you have a big head. You know you have a big head. I'm going to make fun of this big head to the point where now my man makes fun of this all the time. So there's nothing you can say about my big head.
So you're just tough love.
Yeah, I guess.
My thing is, I'm gonna be like, listen, baby, I like your big head, and stop worrying about your big head because your big head's not going anywhere. So I like it. I like you in spite of your big head, or is it in spite or despite? Despite your big head, I still like you. I actually like you because of your big head.
Yeah.
Do you get like? Because my thing is like, let me build you up. If I'm gonna tell you like, yo, motherfucker, you got a big head. If we break up, she's gonna go to her next nigga like, oh, he said I have a big head, like da 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 da. Like you're gonna be remembered as the nigga that reminded her that she had a big head.
But I don't know. At least with my shorty, she knows it's all love. Like,
oh, you got a shorty.
Oh, shawty. This is an airing for a week, so I got some time. Oh, this is an airing. This is all the pre-show.
No, this is airing.
Whoa.
We just hey, yo, cut. Listen, man, welcome to another episode of the How'd I Get Here podcast, the podcast for positivity, progression, and finding our own path. I feel like we actually gonna have to change that because we're taking this podcast in a whole new direction. This is my man Spencer Cephas, Cephanator, Cephalus, Cepha Dog. Thank you, him, aka Elijah.
Ho up.
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna be real with you guys. I started this podcast almost 2 years ago now, and for a long time, it's been motivational, it's been inspirational, which is dope because I'm all about uplifting and building people up. But I also feel like I don't give my full self in every episode. And I probably, Spencer, how long? Like actually, probably what, like the last, we've known each other probably like 4 or 5 months now, but actually been like chopping it up probably like 2-3 months now, like getting cool.
Yeah.
So
I've known you for a year. Like, why are you cutting the timeline, bro?
we did die.
Jeez. We died together at Get and Get Fit at a 7 p.m. class. Shout out Get and Get Fit. Shout out, man. Gosh. Yes, we died together. Kai was there.
Hey, shout out Kai, man. Kitty's Home Decor's got some big things coming. Y'all be on the lookout for that.
Heard it. Yeah, so, we met there. To be honest, Jacob is absolutely obnoxious in the gym. If you've ever worked out with him at the gym.
Positively obnoxious. Listen, I'm annoying. I'm an annoying person in life. I get that, but when we get in the gym, like I just said, I'm about uplifting people. I want to push y'all to be the best y'all. So like, I scream, I grunt, I yell, and I push you to be the best you while we're all dying together.
What's the slogan?
I love this game. that wasn't as manly as the slogans. I love this game. We're gonna work on that. I love this game. I love it.
That's a fact.
But you know what? I love when I say that shit, and where I got it from. There's a soccer player, Patrice Evra. He used to say that, right? That's where I got it from. But when I say like I love this game, like I love this game of life. Like I love when we're in there in the gym, like pushing ourselves. I love when I'm in there challenging. I love helping people. I love fucking figuring out the next phase of life. I love everything about this game of life. And so when I say that, it's like I'm at that moment that I was like, yo, I feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm dying or like I'm stressed, but like not to be cliche, but there's a lot of good shit going on in my life right now, and I'm trying to practice practice being present. You know what I mean? And I know what everything that's going on right now is going to bring me to big things and positive things. But I don't want to get there and say, how'd I get here? You know what I mean? I don't want to get there and say like...
You have to enjoy the process.
Exactly. So I'm now currently trying to enjoy being where I'm at and going through what I'm going through. So when I say I love this game, it's literally like I'm loving this shit that's going on right now. Especially because I never thought I'd be here, or I didn't think I'd be here now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's why when I say that shit, that's where it comes from. Like, I'm loving what the fuck is going on right now.
It's just, I'm glad you finally clarified that, because during the gym, like I said, if you've ever been to a Get and Get Fit workout, especially
if you haven't, I'm going to cut you off.
Yeah.
If you have not come to a Get and Get Fit class, there's 8 a.m. and 10 a.m. free classes every weekend.
And a 12 p.m.
And a 12 p.m.
Yeah.
So there's 3 free classes every weekend, Saturday and Sunday. If you guys come to the class and don't end up on the body cam, Spencer and myself will treat you to lunch. I promise.
That's a fact.
So come, Mark. Hey, it's on camera. This shit's going on YouTube, Apple, everything, Spotify. If you guys come to a weekend class and don't get on the body cam, we will treat you to lunch, your choice of restaurant.
And trust me, Leanne's not going to take it easy on you.
Nope. But go ahead, back to your story.
No, I'm saying I'm glad you clarified that, because when I'm in the gym, I'll be honest with y'all, I don't enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy the results and what it brings, but in that moment, I'm not having a good time. And then you just hear Jacob in the background, I love this game!
I sound a little more masculine.
Not really. You heard him say it the first time.
Hey, my bad. It's good to kill you.
That you not sipping, by the way.
Yo, I'm sorry. I'm not over here trying to kill myself, but
this is a delicious drink. Shout out Dominique. She actually came up with this via Twitter.
Hey, so basically, if you guys can tell, my man Spencer. My man Spencer is going to be on the show from here on out, whether you guys like it or not. But he's a dope dude. He's a financial advisor. He's my financial advisor. But he's a good financial advisor, but he's a better person. And I tried to make you sound as good as I could. But basically, we've been joking since we talked about getting him on the podcast. He's the adobo and the sazon that this podcast needed. He's going to bring my personality out that I feel like only my real people know. And he's going to bring flavor to the podcast. As you guys see, we've been chopping it up 10 minutes now. We ain't really say shit, but we've said a lot. So
this is regular conversation.
No, bruh, I was talking to Kai today. I was telling you earlier, and she was like, "Yo, like, what's Spencer like?" I was like, "Bro, I talk to this nigga now all day, every day, and it's not even about my finances. It's just regular schmegular shit." So, first of all, shout out Spencer. Appreciate you coming in and taking this the podcast now in a new direction. I find that the interviews are cool, but I now want to get back to the topics. I want to get back to the nitty, the gritty. I want to get down and dirty, and I just want to talk about everything. Because when I started the podcast, it was having uncomfortable conversations that people need to have but don't want to have, or have by themselves. So, we're going to talk about mad shit. I don't know if you want to hit on some of the things we'll talk about.
Honestly, like you said, the nitty, the gritty is mainly the things that we feel like most people think of, but don't necessarily want to say out loud. I've never had a problem doing that. I think it's...
That's because you a big nigga. Have y'all ever met a big nigga that gives a fuck?
Never.
All big people don't give a fuck. Period.
We live different. You know why? Because we live at a different standard. You know what I'm saying?
Right, but because you've never actually checked a big nigga and won.
What do you mean?
When have you ever went to a big nigga and been like, fuck you, and the big nigga just took it?
So a quick background of my story.
Yeah, we need to properly introduce Spencer.
Yeah. So segue into that. So I started doing security when I was 18.
Best place you've ever been a security guard at?
Ooh, that's tough. Upper on the Rocks, shout out my crew. What? That's literally
better than the Knicks?
Paved the way. So it was Gold Club when I worked there. But
okay.
What? No, my guy Showtime, Steel, Herm, all my guys that I worked with at Upper on the Rocks. That was family. To this day, it's always love. But I worked pretty much everywhere downtown. Gold Club, I must say, it is an interesting place. It really will make you grow up. It'll force you to grow up because you're around naked women all the time. You're
Right.
around people who are there for a bunch of different reasons. There was a gentleman who used to go there. I'm trying to be classy. He used to go there every week, and he made shoes. And he would come. He had his own shoe on. He was like his own little Steve Madden. He would come with his shoes, and he would find his Cinderella to wear said shoe. Guess what those shoes did?
Bro, go ahead.
Those shoes were meant to kick that man in the nuts.
Yo, that's out of pocket. That's out of pocket.
It's a different world, and it's like that. I met some of my closest connections. Shout out my boy Vinny. That's gang. And it's like it was just different. So, but yeah, back to your original point. I've checked many a big nigga.
Cause you're a big nigga.
Yeah, that's a fact. And one.
Right. Big niggas don't give a fuck. You've never met a big nigga that gives a fuck. Which is why, back to our initial point, you can just say whatever you want, which is why you're here.
True. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy messing with people's heads, to be honest with you. I like
all right, so there's two points that you just made me think. I like picking people's brains. When I went to college, I was choosing between two things: marketing and psychology. I sat through intro to psych, and that shit was boring. What? Which is crazy because you've had conversations, you know how much I like to pick people's brains, right? But when I'm out, especially when the alcohol is going, I like to pick people's brains, not to manipulate them, but to just, the way I see it is, if I can help you figure out you, I'm figuring out me.
Ooh, that's powerful.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, that's why I like to dig deep into you, because you might have a story, and I could be like, Spencer, like, oh, I'm like this because of this. I'm like, oh, maybe that's why I'm like that.
This is what separates Drake fans from J. Cole fans.
Do we need to hit that? Listen, we're going to be hitting on culture. Hold on. Everybody that has listened to this podcast for the last year and a half knows not to mention Drake on this fucking podcast. Because they know how I feel about Aubrey, Wheelchair Jimmy.
Oh,
listen,
Lord.
we're going to get Drake on the podcast one day, but that's neither here nor there.
I just think, no, you hit you hit a very serious point. Excuse me, Meister. Hand, please. No, you hit a good point, which I got. Appreciate you.
Can I get the next batch, please? Thank you, sir. We're gonna have to tip him when we're done.
Facts. Round on me after this.
Nigga, what? We know that. By the way, I got to do two shout outs before we hop into this next story. Shout out to my man Jeff that runs Reset, the location that we're at right now.
Yes.
I've used this location before. Anybody that's in Connecticut, in the greater Hartford, anywhere out here that wants to run a podcast, he's making this space available to any and everybody. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Reset, for making this possible for me, and let's make this shit poppin'. He's got mad space in here, so anybody that wants to podcast or anything, we can help y'all out, get your shit started, and go from there. Secondly, shout out Elijah. I wish I had the camera on this side so I could show him. Not only has he been a supporter from the podcast from day one, but he is also getting his fucking coffee shop off and running. So we are, May 14th, Cole just dropped his album. His coffee shop will be open by the end of June. So anybody that knows me, that's my cousin, but that's really my little bro. So look out for this coffee shop, Samia Cafe. It's over there by Dunkin' Donuts Park. Elijah's taking over the city, period. So now that I got that out the way, so you were a bouncer.
Yeah.
Cheers, brother, man. After you were a bouncer, where did you go from there?
Do we want to just do like a quick rap sheet of my life?
No, we don't gotta be quick, but I want to figure out how you got, because you're a financial advisor now.
Yes.
And like when you were younger, did you think you'd be a financial advisor?
Never.
So I want to, how did we get
here?
Yeah, to being a financial advisor.
Got it. It's interesting too because growing up, I don't know if it was just lack of communication. Well, it must have been lack of communication, but I never knew what my parents did for work. I was never knew.
I could actually tell you where my parents worked. Well, no, my dad worked at Bank of America, so obviously I know what he did.
Yeah.
I can tell you where my mom worked. I don't know what she did. That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's
right.
actually a really good
always realized that we had autonomy. My parents never worked for anybody. Like my dad, self-employed, always sold insurance, all types of insurance. Mother did the same thing along with raising me and my brothers. So I guess subconsciously, I never subscribed to the 9-to-5 lifestyle because I never saw that.
Where the supposed to be lifestyle, that's what I like to call it.
Right? Yeah, the supposed to.
Which you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. The reason why kids go to school from 8 to 3 o'clock.
Right. No, I feel you.
So, I've always been an entrepreneur. Like I grew up in Manchester. Shout out, no, I can't shout out Manchester. I'm sorry.
Manchester.
I can't do it. But yeah, I grew up in Manchester half my life. Had paper routes, had landscaping businesses. I would always. It's so interesting to me to be like today when it snows, there aren't kids knocking on your door.
Touch me.
It's weird,
bro. Me and my boy, right, is my cross the street neighbor, Brandon Hall, right?
Okay.
As soon as the snow would fall, he would come help shovel my driveway.
Outside.
I would go shovel his driveway, and we would just go up and down the street. And we would just, we would make, in a day, $200 each.
Yes, and you know what, as a kid, that's a lot, but today you're just like, damn, I was like shortcutting this.
Right. I could have came up.
I could have done 200 a spot.
No,
but
that's word.
It's so weird to me. So like I'm not the type of person, I don't like when people tell me no. So like
no means no, Spencer.
Well, yeah. In certain situations, gosh. So I'm more like, yo, if I can't, like, if you're not gonna get this from me, I'm gonna go get it for myself.
I love that.
So yeah, I grew up just paper routes, mowing people's lawns, doing what I need to do to get money. So what was it? I worked at the Marriott when I graduated from high school. Shout out Classical Magnet. I probably learned more at Classical Magnet than I learned at college.
Where'd you go? College.
Oh, Manchester Community College. Which is just like, I mean, it's a dope spot. Another side topic, if you don't know what you want to go to college for, do research, really figure out your passion. Don't go to college because someone says you need to go to college. Further your education, for sure.
Hot take. I encourage people to go to college for the experience, nothing that they're actually learning in the classroom.
But you can get that experience outside.
No,
in the real world.
But that's why I said go for the experience.
Okay.
Like I have stories from college, none of which have anything to do with what I learned. You get what I'm saying? So like go. Because once you're 18, you're technically an adult, right?
Yeah.
But if you're in college, you have 4 more years to kind of get away with murder.
Yeah.
Right? So go for the drunk nights. Go for the parties. Go for the heartbreaks. Go for the shit that
Heartbreaks?
Bruh, listen.
Yo, shout out Jacob an emotional dude.
Listen, I'm a Libra. When I was in college, shout out my nigga B-Day, Rhoda Geese. He used to call me Draco because I was so emotional.
That's why you don't like Drake.
That's not why I don't like Drake.
Nah, let's get to the bottom of it.
but to my point, go to college for the stories, for the memories, right? I couldn't tell you shit that I learned in the classroom. Granted, my college wasn't the best college, but like you said, there's other ways to get to where you need to be than college. You know, and I'm not to say like, my thing is college is not for everybody. But like you said, don't stop. Don't graduate and then just be like, all right, I'm done. Like, oh, I'm stuck.
Well, I find that there's a certain entitlement that comes to people who go to college, get their bachelor's, get their master's. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Further your education, educate yourself, be the best human being you can. But I find that you go to school 4 years, you have damn near 6 figures in college debt.
Right.
And now it's just like, no, I'm entitled to be making the six figures back because I need to pay back this debt that I just accrued over the last 4 years.
Right.
But that's not how it works. Like, you're gonna get that $40,000 salary coming out of college.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Unless you're going for something very specific. But back to my point. So I went straight to work out of high school. I worked at the Marriott. Did security. Some other things.
This nigga used to have dreads. He looked like Anthony Anderson in a Scary Movie.
Yeah, I call it the dreaded years. I was a different person with dreads. I
think you're the same person. I just think you grew up.
Yeah, probably. I matured a lot. And shout out to all my Jamaicans. I know we call them locks, but for the sake of calling it the dreaded years, it was a different time in my life. So worked at the Marriott, did a bunch of security. I went to MCC for 2 years for hospitality management because while working at the Marriott, if I work anywhere, I want to be the highest position there.
Right, you want to be that dude.
I want no ceilings, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to just be punching the clock and working for people because I've always felt, I don't know if it's my ego or just seeing my parents not having to work for anyone, I've always felt like I could do this job better.
Word.
And not because I'm better than that person.
Because of who you are.
Yeah, it's because I learned from you, but the way I am, just the way like we connect,
right.
You laid the foundation for here. And it's just like, yo, there's a couple things that we can tweak. We can bring this to another level. And that's just me.
Nah, this is, and that's the thing, like, this ain't my shit.
Yeah.
Like, and then that's the thing. Nah, that's real shit, because it's like, yo, I've brought it to, like, a respectable place, right? Mm-hmm. But now it's stagnant. Now it's time to elevate. It's time to elevate. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bring this shit up. Nah, I feel you.
So from there, what was it? I wanted to go for, the reason why I cut my hair, I wanted to go for a promotion at the Marriott. And if you work in hospitality, everything, like, perception is reality. So, they want someone clean cut, someone who's going to be like, yeah, my pleasure, this, that, and the third, help the guests. So they pretty much told me, like, yo, if you want this promotion, you got to cut your dreads.
And you cut it?
And I cut it. It's I don't know if it's one of my biggest regrets, but it's one of the things that I look back at like, damn, like, I really did that. And guess what? I didn't get the promotion.
Can we, nah, because you know what? I don't want to stop. We're going to put a tab on that story right there.
Yeah.
Because this season is going to be called Cancel Culture. And part of one of my points about cancel culture is, remember when you said earlier, you were like, yo, we actually got to be careful with what we say. I'm a head coach and you're a financial advisor. So we can't just be out here motherfucking and, saying shit, right? We got to almost put on a facade. Or what is it, code switching?
Yeah.
Right? You had to cut your shit to get a job.
Yeah, to get a promotion.
Right, to get a promotion for a job that you already had. So that's almost part of code switching. Why should we have, cancel culture, why can't I just say or be who I want to be? Why do I have to put on this image just to appease to you?
Yeah, just to appease to the guests that come here. Because I don't know if you know, Hartford, Windsor, Marriott, I had nothing.
Oh, you were over there?
Yeah. Day Hill Road. Right.
In the cut that nobody goes to except for the...
But the thing is, it's all execs. On Day Hill Road, there's nothing but businesses.
Wow.
That's where they used to go to hold all their meetings. So they're like, no, we need somebody clean cut, this, that, and the third. The dude, the dude who pretty much said, like, yeah, if you do X, Y, and Z, you'll get the promotion. He ended up switching locations like a month later. So I'm just like, where's my promotion at? They're like, see, what had happened was he left, he was the one heading it. We don't know. I was like, oh, I bet. So then I got into Verizon.
My man used to own Verizon stores.
Yeah.
I'm lying? I'm lying? My nigga used to own Verizon.
Yeah, it took a lot to get there. So I started working at a small retailer in Vernon. Shout out Kim Milakoski. We kind of went our separate ways when I wanted to leave the industry. But she gave me the opportunity to really run my own store, develop my skills, and I ended up running a market. Like, I ran the busiest store out there. And then I also oversaw the rest of the market and just made sure all the managers, doing what the busiest store was doing, right?
Right.
I actually promoted 3 of the 5 managers in the location, like, from my store. So it was dope. It was a dope experience. Like, looking at me like that.
I'm gonna say some stupid shit. Can they get me off of this bullshit Sprint contract with a, set me up?
Shout out Vinny Perez, my boy Ken. I'll hook you up after. Yes, sir. So yeah, I worked through there, and to be honest, my ego was through the roof because I was
24, 23?
Exactly, literally like
running
24,
shit?
running shit, and I'm just like, yeah. So then a company, a life insurance company, reached out to me. They're like, yeah, we're looking for these managers, this, that, and the third. And I thought it was an interesting interview, but also fun fact, I've never been to an interview and not gotten a job.
That's crazy because I have a similar story, but I might start crying and shit, so we won't.
Oh, okay, we'll save that for another episode. So yeah, I ended up going to this life insurance company, and being 25, selling life insurance, 100% commission, no salary, to older union workers, bro, I was in over my head. I didn't know how to have the conversation. I didn't know how to relate to them. Like, I didn't know the world they lived in, let alone tell them, hey, you need life insurance.
Right.
And they're like, bro, who are you? Like, is that mustache fully grown yet? I fell on my face. I call it the fall of 2017, but that really built my character. I lost everything. My car got repoed. Shout out my boy Alex Park. I was living.
Alex,
you know Alex Park?
I went to middle school with him.
Stop. You went to
HMS? Yeah. Before it was HMM, TCQC, all that other shit. Yes, HMS.
Yo, long hair.
Yes.
Yo, that's hilarious. Alex knows everybody. You really do. But yeah, no, shout out to my boy because he just bought a multifamily house. He's like, yo, I'm gonna fix up this side, rent it out, and I'm gonna take my time on my side. He let me stay in his side.
Oh, word.
Which was being renovated. Wow, bro, I was homeless. I had no
That's
car.
love.
I was living with, I had my dog at the time. Damn, shout out Diesel. I miss my dog, my bull, my boxer.
I had a boxer when I was young. His name was Zeus. I had the same birthday as
Did we
my
live
sister.
the same life?
We might.
This was interesting. I thought I knew. So yeah, from there I fell on my face and I'm like, bro, what do I do? And I went back to Verizon. I reached out to my mentor. He was running Verizon stores for another retailer. He's like, listen, you could come over, but it's not what you're used to. Like, you work 6 days a week, 55 hours minimum.
Slave shit.
Yeah, but they had that built my character to a point where they built up their business literally from one store. And they had like 55 by the time I got there. Just straight hustlers, right? Their work ethic was like no one I've ever seen before.
Right.
To me, in my head, I'm just like, yo, you guys are gonna burn out. And to them, they're like, nah, we just getting started.
We do this shit.
We does this.
Right, right.
And to me, I was just like, wow, like, I thought I had a good work ethic. My work ethic is shit. Like,
I'll talk about that.
Bruh, they get it. And I'm just like, wow, okay, this is life. So I go over there. I already knew Verizon. I know how to talk to people. I know how to sell Verizon. I got promoted in like 6 months. And they moved me out to Rhode Island to literally start a store from scratch. East Providence, yeah. From there, I got moved to the busiest store out there to pretty much, run that store. And then we helped out the market and whatnot. And yeah, in that company, when you get promoted, you pretty much, that's your store, managing partner. You do 90 days straight, open to close.
That's stupid.
Open to close. But you got to think about it. That's to them, and it's a great model.
Because they don't give a fuck about the people that they're employing. As long as the money comes in, they don't give a fuck.
But the thing about it is, it's like there's 3 main owners. One is a silent owner, and then 2 of them. One of them, he genuinely cares. Like, he cares about each and every person.
Have you met him?
Yes, all of them, bro.
Really?
It's a tight knit. It's a tight knit place. Yeah, no, that retailer. So
there's
corporate Verizon, and then there's like separately owned. There's a tight knit.
It's like
retailer.
the Chick-fil-A of phones.
No.
It sounded good in my head. My bad. It sounded good.
No, it was to the office was in Stamford, Connecticut, and they made us drive down once a month to have our manager meetings in Stamford, Connecticut, from Rhode Island. Like, bro, I lived in Connecticut.
Disrespectful.
Right? It feels so disrespectful. I'm just like, bro, why are we doing this? Like, we could, like, especially now we're doing everything virtually.
Right.
Like, why am I driving down here? But, you know, they ran things differently. I learned a lot from that company, but I also learned if I'm gonna work this hard, I'm not doing this for somebody else.
Which is why you got into selling the shit.
Yeah, which is when I got into small business consulting at Paychecks, setting up retirement plans, helping people be profitable and like shelter taxes. And then through there, shout out Trevon Cheatham, bro. The most genuine person I've ever met in my life. Rest in paradise, my guy.
I just gotta tell a story.
Please.
I kind of regret because I never, like, anyone that tells stories about Cheatham, they kind of like you said, oh, I talked to him, he had this impact, that impact. I never really had the time to like sit down and chop it up with him, right? I only ever spoke to him in passing, right? But when I got to Get In, Get Fit, right, I had known Lee for about like 2 years, year and a half, 2 years. And when I met her, I was still playing soccer. And she was like, yo, come to the gym. Yeah, I'm gonna come. Yeah, I'm everybody that goes to Get In, Get Fit has that part of their story.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna come, right? And 2020, the year of COVID, we all was going through some shit, right? Mm-hmm. That was the year that I learned not to fuck with anybody from the Bronx, especially Dominicans. But neither here nor there, I was going through some shit. And I finally, I was done with coaching, and I ran into Lee on my birthday. I actually ran into the Russell. It was me, Kai, and Juice. They took me out for my birthday, whatever. And Lee pressed me, was like, yo, when are you coming to the gym? Yo, I'm gonna come. Nah, seriously, when are you gonna come? 2 weeks later, I was in that bitch. I haven't missed a week since.
That was the first time we met.
Right, but the reason I say all that to say, Cheatham created a place for people to find themselves. You know what I mean? Like, at Get In, Get Fit, like, I was so lost, I was going through whatever I was going through, that I go to this gym an hour a day to feel me. You know what I mean? And become the best me. You know what I mean? And that's why it's like, yeah, I'm in there pumping weight and screaming and pushing people, but like, mentally, what that gym did for me, I feel like I got a piece of myself back when I got back and Get In, Get Fit.
Yo, that's...
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why, like, it's like, I'm about to move in a couple months or whatever, but like, Lee was like, yo, I'm gonna challenge you to be back, being here at least 3 days a week. She was like, you're gonna miss it. And I was like, yo, when I found out about this job, the first thought was like, yo, I'm about to miss the gym. Because like, yo, Spencer, pull up to my crib. Or, yo, I'm coming home for the weekend. Elijah, like, we can always still link. Yo, I'm about to coach at this game. Come to the game. We'll go grab whatever.
Facts.
I can't bring the gym to...
And that vibe is like nothing else.
Right, but like, Cheatham did that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And like, and I regret not being able, because like, all the shit that I do, I know we would have like connected. You know what I mean? I know it would have been there, but like, that man did a lot for me without even knowing.
Yeah, inadvertently.
Inadvertently, without even knowing. So like, shout out to him, his fam, the Get In, Get Fit fam.
Literally.
But yeah, back to your story.
Yeah, no, that's powerful, and that's funny because you really reminded me, because I said earlier, like, man, I don't really like shit like that. But like, you reminded me, like, yeah, no, because when I'm there, it's like I'm my best and my worst self.
Right.
Because
you're your most vulnerable self in that gym.
Yeah, because it's like, yo, I'm going through something that I would never go through on my own. But at the end of it, it's like, nah, I did that shit.
Right. And my thing is like, you guys know how like dedicated and everything I am with soccer or was with soccer. Like the amount of work that I put into soccer, I can no longer be bothered to run. I used to run miles a day. You know what I mean? I can't be bothered to. And that's like my own issue, something that I need to face and figure out on my own. But it's another thing to have Lee in there. Come on, Rax, Dell,
not letting you
12. You know what I mean?
Not
Like,
letting you slap.
No matter what. Bro, today I was doing a fucking hip thrust. Fucking racks put on a 45 on top of another 45 on top of 35. I'm like, my nigga, who do you think I am? We were pushing the sled. He had 6 45s on there.
Yeah.
Why? But you know what? They
see something in you that you don't see in yourself.
Exactly. And that's why it's one of those things like he made that for us. And like when I was playing, that's where my head was. You know what I mean? And like I genuinely appreciate like every day I step in that gym, like, all right, we gotta go.
Tap back in.
Gotta go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like another conversation. Hopefully, you know, I spoke to Lee about a mental health awareness episode that we can get the coaches on.
I'm trying to do a month of that, bro.
Hey, I'm here for it. Because listen, especially if the alcohol is pouring, you know, I'm gonna get emotional. I might cry on that episode. but for real, I'm like that gym has done a lot for me. So like real shit, we've shouted him out a bunch on this.
Yeah, I got nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
Nah, definitely. So Cheatham, the way he is, it's like one, whatever you're doing, like why can't you do it for yourself?
Right.
Like whatever you're doing. His mentality is like, yo, how can I elevate that? Like, how can I get you to step outside your comfort zone to think of something you never thought of before that is completely obtainable?
Right.
So I'm doing small business consulting for Paychecks. I'm telling him everything I do. He's like, word. So how you do that for yourself? And I'm just like, well, I can't. Like, I can't, bro. I can't do people's payroll. Like, you want me to handle people's 401ks? He's like, well, you already set them up. He's like, bro, I've been talking to you for 10 minutes. You know what you're talking about.
Right.
And I'm just like, nah, whatever. You know, your initial, like, the way your mind works, your initial fears are just like, nah, I can't do that. And then I'm really sitting there thinking about it. I'm just like, yo, I could do this for myself. Right? I work with financial advisors all the time. I put them on the plans that I'm establishing for these small business owners. I could do that. And then, you know, shout out Bilal Afalabi.
Hey,
my
man.
God. It's funny, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn from Northwestern Mutual, and I knew he was there because we all work out together. I sent him a text as a joke, like, someone from your job trying to recruit me. He was like, yo, honestly, I thought you were happy where you were, but let's have a conversation. Bro, we had a conversation, and I was just like, oh, this is everything that I'm doing now.
Right.
I'm just doing it for myself. Granted, I'm gonna have to build this from scratch, but it's going to be mine.
Right. And there's power in that, having your shit.
Power in like, no, I'm going to run this business how I see fit. I'm not gonna have a manager or like a higher up telling me, hey, listen, why didn't you set it up for this business?
Right.
When I'm telling you, listen, they don't have any money to do so. Like, this isn't in the cards for them. Now I can give people a holistic approach of like, yo, listen, where are you at today? Where do you want to be? Let's take a look at this timeline and let's be strategic and efficient about it.
Bro, my man, listen, I'm a para-educator for the Windsor, was a para-educator for the Windsor school systems. I don't make shit, I make beans. This man, Spencer, found out a way to take the little bit that I make and stretch it in 6 different directions. And make me feel a lot richer than I really am.
Like, yeah, no, most people are doing better than they realize. That you just don't know what you don't know.
Word.
And the thing I love about my practice is that I just show people what's possible.
Word.
And a lot of people living in this capitalistic society don't realize what's possible. I mean, think about everyone who was enraged about the taxes Trump pays. I wasn't mad. In my head, I'm like, how'd you do that?
Right. How'd you get away with it?
How'd you do that?
All right, so let's hit on that real quick because you just said people are doing a lot better than what they realize, right? And let's start getting into this cancel culture because, like we said earlier, this season we're gonna hit y'all with 12 episodes. It's gonna be called Cancel Culture, and we even hit on it earlier about having to be something that you're not. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I done took a couple fucking notes here, but I'm tired of saying shit and being like, oh, I can't say that.
Ooh.
Because what exactly is cancel culture? I should
freedom of speech.
Bruh, I don't know if you read that there, but I literally, my first note is freedom of speech. I should be able to talk my shit, and I feel like in today's society, people are just so fucking soft.
it's soft. You know what? Everyone, because of social media and because of how quick content gets into the airway, people are quick to get offended. And when
did that happen though?
It happened. I think it happened in our generation, to be honest with you. Like, people are so quick to get offended because they can, and they took freedom of speech to freedom of, I'm hurt. And you know what? The thing is, you can be hurt. I'm not saying that no one should be disrespecting you. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't affect you directly,
why do you care so much?
Who cares?
Why do you care so much? This shit's not. If it's not changing, this is my thing about stress, right? I understand why people stress, but I also don't.
I don't believe in it.
Bro, if that shit's not affecting you right then and there in that moment, or your life, your pockets, whatever, why does it matter so much?
Because
why are you spending your energy on something that's not going to change your life?
The majority of people you're a product of your situation, and today you have the opportunity to go on this Google machine that we have, and you can learn anything you need to. So, like, people want to be quick to, like, you know what? I can't do this. I can't do that. Oh, this is so much. I don't believe in stress. I believe in solutions. Because if you take a step back and look at it objectively, there is a solution. There's a way to get out of the situation that you're in. You're just not looking at it because you're feeling sorry for
perspective. And I'll be real with you. So back 2019, I had a contract that was pulled. I was supposed to go to Detroit and play.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And my shit got pulled literally the day after my birthday. So everybody was like, oh my God, the world is ending, whatever, right? My man Keenan was like, all right, bro, you're allowed to have a one-day pity party.
Yeah.
He literally told me like that. You're allowed to have a one-day pity party and then figure the shit out.
I need more friends like that.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing. It's like, okay, I literally had one day that I was like, all right, what the fuck I'm gonna do? I was pissed off, and then I called my mom the next day, and she was like, yo, why don't you just get in the school system? Until you figure out soccer, they're paying subs crazy money. Go be a sub until you figure it out. Literally 2 weeks later, I was working in the school system. Now here I am fucking with kids that I like that I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't know that I liked kids. Okay. Or working with kids, I should say. You know what I mean? But
it's a different type of patience.
No, absolutely. It's crazy. I deal with Puerto Rican girls. I got crazy patience. They're all crazy. I love you guys. I'm about to get canceled.
What'd you say about Puerto Rican girls? Oh, no, you didn't.
Nah, but that's the thing. It's like, no, my saying is no 2 bad days in a row.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? No, you're not allowed to have.
That's serious. I'm putting that in my notes. No 2 bad days in a row.
Because what have you accomplished in the 2 days in a row that you fucking sat there and felt bad for yourself? You know what I mean? Exactly, nothing. So just like my man Keenan was like, bruh, one day pity party and then get on with it. So, but that's my mentality. And in today's society, everybody wants, oh, you said this, you said that, bro. Who cares? Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. It's like this bullshit with the vaccine, right? Get the vaccine, don't get the vaccine. I don't care. Where my issue is everybody's opinion on whether you're getting it or not.
Yeah.
Let people live.
It's the negative connotation that comes with it. It's like, oh, you're not getting the vaccine? Or it's like, you know, it's the for me comments. It's the not getting the vaccine for me. It's the da-da-da-da for me. It's like, bruh, if you want to get the vaccine, get it. If enough people who feel that strongly about it get the vaccine,
then we all good.
What are y'all worried about?
And if you get it, what are you worried about?
What are you worried about it? You should, like, are you that worried about me that I'm gonna get it and pass away? But you got it. You're good, right?
So that. And that's why I say, like, in today's society, just like you said, people worry too much about other people, and to that goes hand in hand with your goals. That goes hand in hand with what the fuck you're doing. If I want to be the best soccer player in the world, and I'm worrying about what the fuck Spencer's doing, I'm not going to be able to focus on me. You know what I mean? And that's why everybody says, "Oh, Spencer's doing this, let me cancel." No, worry about yourself.
Yeah, like what was it? Kevin Hart. They were talking about canceling him because he cheated on his wife or whatever at the time. My thing is, that's between him, his wife, and his family. Y'all canceling him for being human? Because let's talk about it. Let's talk about how many people. I know there's people.
Can I just stop you right now? I don't know if you want to get in this conversation.
I got something to say real quick, because I've been drinking. So my thing is, I know there's plenty of people out there, men and women, who have cheated on their significant other, and y'all just haven't gotten away with it.
So are you saying that if you can get away with it, it wouldn't be an issue?
No, I'm saying that how are you going to cancel someone who publicly, because they live...
Don't judge someone because they sin differently than you, or because they sinned and got caught for the shit that you're doing.
Because they sinned and got caught, and because I would never, like, celebrities, and no one knows this, I'm an introvert at heart.
What?
I don't want to be in front of people. So my thing is, if you're a celebrity, you have taken on the spotlight.
Right.
You are under a microscope.
Right.
So, listen, he sinned, he got caught, but how many of you have been sinning, you just haven't got caught? So, who are you to look differently on this person or quote unquote cancel him like he wasn't funny the day prior?
Can I say something to that?
Yeah.
I think people talk shit about other people because it's a reflection of themselves, and they really, the shit that they're talking about others is really about themselves.
That's a fact.
And they feel guilty or they feel a certain way, but instead of looking in the fucking mirror and, like you said earlier, holding yourself accountable, I'd rather, Spencer got caught cheating, so
let's talk about that.
Let's talk about Spencer rather than talk about me. You know what I mean?
How many people have gotten mad? How many times have you been in a situation where someone's just angry at you and you don't understand why? But wait, nothing I did right now should warrant this response. Why are you so mad?
But you just struck a nerve.
Talk that shit.
Nah, you know what? Because I was in a relationship and I genuinely did not understand half of the shit that this chick was tweaking about. But it's not because she was tweaking, but it was more so because I didn't understand her. You get what I'm saying?
Is this like a love language, or you just didn't understand her as a person?
I didn't understand her as a person. I didn't understand what she was mad about. I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. And that's not to say she was wrong. That's a communication error. It's a communication error. But I feel like part of love is actually understanding your partner. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole other episode.
That's another episode.
But to that point, it's like, that's not to say she was crazy or she was wilding. I just didn't understand. You get what I'm saying? But I feel like cancel culture is, you understand. I feel like people don't. You know what it is? And just because it just happened, let's talk about... She's a runner. She's a trainer.
Let's talk about J. Cole dropping his album and all the... And my thing is, I don't...
Hold on. He brought it up.
Yes,
hold on. I need to look into this camera. He brought this up. Because y'all see me with the Dreamville shit on. Look, well, I can't. I got wires on. I got the Dreamville sneakers on. Y'all been waiting for me to do this shit. I was saying to wait. He did this.
Listen.
Carry on, Spencer.
Because it's relatable and it just happened today. But my thing is, right? If you don't like J. Cole, then don't like J. Cole. No one's forcing you to like J. Cole. The same way no one's forcing you to tweet the things that you like, no one's forcing you to dislike him publicly. So if we want to congratulate a man who honestly just went off on an album in a way that we haven't seen him do, why yuck are y'all? Right? But what does that do for you?
No, you know what? To your point, if you don't appreciate what somebody's doing, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Because it's not even shut the fuck up, but have an educated conversation about it. Don't downplay something that you're not willing to have a conversation about.
Right. But that's what I'm saying, because people are very impressionable. Is it impressionable? Impressionable.
There you go.
Excuse me. People are very impressionable, right? So if I could sit here and be like, yo, Cole is a terrible artist, who's to say that you might not be like, yeah, Cole sucks. Or how many times have you had a conversation that was like, oh, I say this and now I start thinking the way that based off of what you said. If you don't, my dad used to always say, if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all.
I don't necessarily agree with that,
but that brings me to my next point, which is why we can scroll up back on the notes. But people call me an asshole. No. All right.
Jacob Conde?
At 53 minutes, I don't know if that's sarcasm, but at 53 minutes and 24 seconds, because I got to go back. All right, cool. People say I'm an asshole, right? But my thing is like, I done been through some shit. I done been through a lot of shit. I would rather tell you how it is and you hate me because I told you than me lie to you about what is.
Ooh, and the question is, are you ready or are you willing to hear that truth, or do you want to hear a beautiful lie and stay within your comfort zone?
Okay, so then that goes back to the next point of sometimes you just don't have to say shit.
Silence is powerful.
Sometimes like I got some shit that I really don't want to air out on the podcast, right?
Nah, bro, this is an open forum.
Nah, it's one of those things. Like one of my students, right?
This might be
well, I can say this.
Okay.
Ain't nobody gonna find out what the fuck I'm talking about. She ain't saying that shit. She called somebody dirty the other day, and I told her, I was like, bro, why did you turn up on him? Like, she didn't just call him dirty. She went in on this kid. Right? And I was like, bro, why did you feel the need to say that? She was like, oh, because his hair is dirty. He always does it. And I was just like, but does that make you feel better? She was like, nah. I was like, so then what's the point? Why did you say it? You know what I mean? So then, but as I'm lecturing her about this, I thought about myself. About how people, my dad, me and him have a whole situation. He's got a whole timeout. Let me interject right here.
Yeah.
My dad told me, my parents both actually fuck with this podcast, which is crazy. They both listen and I appreciate it and I love them both because I would not be where or who I am without both of my parents, right?
That's a fact for everybody.
But my dad hit me the other day. I was in the living room. He was like, yo, every time I listen to the podcast, I can barely hear it. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, sometimes my mics are fucked up or whatever, He was like, nah, like, sometimes I can't hear it. Took this man's phone and put the volume all the way up. I was like, does it sound better now? He was like, yeah. So the man was just listening, but that's neither here nor there.
That's an OG thing.
No, my dad's the GOAT. But I say all that to say, my dad always says, like, yo, if you would have said that, like, you don't realize what you said, the power of what you said. You get what I'm saying?
I don't even know why I texted that. You trying to order some food for us, yo?
Hold on. We might have to call for. No, don't pause it, nigga. Don't.
Yeah.
We might have to call 451 and put some food in because we'll wrap up in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Yeah, straight. We just want to put the order in.
Call Brenda. Put in 3 orders of wings.
Who's Brenda?
Huh?
Who's Brenda?
451?
They know you.
Shout out 451. We regulars.
Yeah.
But nah, we were actually being serious here. Take my phone. Call 451 right now and put in 3 orders of wings.
No, pause it.
Huh?
Pause it.
No, nigga, we ain't pausing shit.
No, this is live. Hey, we live, baby.
Nah, but my dad would say, like, yo, do you realize the power of what you just said? And based on what I went through last year, I'm on some like, bro, I don't give a fuck no more. Because I've been so good to so many people that now y'all just gonna hear what I gotta say. You know what I mean? But not everybody deserves it. I don't always have to be 100% ruthless. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes people cannot control or take what you have to say, so therefore you get canceled. That's how you get what I'm trying to say. Like,
it's the appreciation of authenticity.
But not everybody can appreciate that authenticity.
That's the problem. So not everyone deserves it. Not everyone can appreciate it.
So how do you determine it? Because that's where I'm struggling right now.
So what it is, and going back to that little girl, right? And it's like, oh, you dirty, this, that, and the third. It's funny. So I think
that shit was funny.
That first of all, it's hilarious because kids are ruthless.
Nah, yo. Listen. Yo, I've never been self-conscious in my life.
Wait, hold on. Did you just say they're not taking orders?
You're not picking up.
Text her. Go to my Instagram. Go to Brenda. I'm telling you, they'll take the food.
Yeah, right. We got.
We're not editing this out.
Yeah, no. This is all.
451. Check them out. Franklin Ave, bro. There you go.
Yes.
The best mofono in fucking Hartford.
And it's cost effective.
Financial advice. but like to the point, it's like you don't. I feel like sometimes when I say shit, well, I mean everything that I say, 100%, whether it's nice or not. But then sometimes I feel like I have to think, what did I say do to you?
Yeah. So the responsibility that people either acknowledge or they don't is that if you care for that person or you want the message to be well received, you need to figure out how they need to receive it. So because
delivery, is that
exactly
okay,
delivery. So I wrote down articulation of good points. So not to say that like that kid might very well be dirty. So and that little girl is just like she's making a joke of it and she wants to like whatever put him on the spotlight. But if you took it a step further, like yo, why'd you say that? Do you feel better? More so like, hey, listen, that might very well be the case. Why are you saying this? Are you trying to make fun of him, or do you want him to know that he's dirty?
Because you care.
Because you care. And that's how you articulate it in a different way. Like, yo, listen, I want you to know this. And you know me, I'm an asshole. I'll make a joke out of anything.
Hey, listen, Spencer, I'm right. And I need to shout you out again because you brought a side out of me on this episode and this hour that we've been talking that most of these people haven't seen.
For real? I'm gonna be honest, I haven't listened to all. I watched the one.
Bro, I've almost got 50 episodes. I would be surprised if anyone. I'd be surprised if anyone has. And they've gotten better though.
Okay.
But like, I'll tell a story. The first episode that I had, we recorded in the middle of fucking July on a 3rd floor apartment with no air conditioning.
Ooh.
Yes, it was hot. Hot. Right? So I had a fan. Nah, they didn't pick up?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
We'll figure it out.
Keep the Russell.
We'll figure it out. But nah, so we had a fan in the other room. Like blowing air? Yeah, circulating it. But it like cooled down the room. I think you were there on the first episode we recorded, right? But I didn't realize that the snowball mic that I had picked up everything. So if you go back and listen to the very, very first pilot episode, you could hear the fan in the background. But I didn't realize it while we were recording.
Yeah.
And the first probably like 10, 15 episodes weren't visual. So everything was audio. And we're literally just I was figuring it out little by little. I remember it was me, Elijah, and his ex, Linda. We were sitting in her apartment, and we were talking about the podcast that I had been sitting on the podcast at that point for like a year.
About starting it? Bro, quick pause. There's something to be said about just starting. I am the type of person who like I don't want to go into something. Yeah, I don't want to go into something until it's like I want it to be right. Like even the way like I'm like, yo, we're talking about it, like we can do this, bang, 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 bang.
Fuck it.
And it's just like, yeah, I'm the type of person if I want to put it out to the public, I want it to be perfect.
Oh, so you're a perfectionist. Bro, actually we'll do an episode about that.
Yeah.
We'll do an episode about that. Because we did an episode way back called Pull the Trigger.
Yeah.
And it's just about like, yo, taking a leap of faith.
Just do it.
And
Nike.
I had, hey, you know all I wear is Nike. I got Pumas on my feet, but
Big nigga. I know I'm gonna feel good for big niggas.
Sorry.
But you know.
Hey, I'm not a big nigga, I don't know. But I was literally sitting on the idea of this podcast for like a year. And it was me, him, and Linda sitting there, and I had a good job at the time. I had bread. She was like, yo, go tomorrow, open up a Best Buy credit card, and buy a laptop. I was like, yo, are you serious? She was like, yeah. And I hated this job. Hated it. I was sitting at work the next day, working all day. I was like, I need to go get this laptop. Literally clocked out or left, bought the laptop.
This one?
This laptop. Yeah, literally. But it was like one of those, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I have sat on this idea of this podcast for so long. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know what it's going to do. And this podcast has changed 4, 5, 6, 7 different times since then. But you got to pull the trigger. Take that chance. Take a risk. What do you have to lose?
That's a fact. And you know what it is? I appreciate you laying the foundation. And I do want to shout out my guys, the final batch. I only know Baz and D-Block and Stretch on there. But they got a dope podcast too. Honestly, my whole thing is too, like, we showing love to everybody in the area because everyone talks about different things. Everyone's doing different things. This isn't a competition. We can all shout each other out and really exploit everyone's strengths. Yes.
Listen, we've been chopping it up for like a little over an hour now.
First of all, the first 15 minutes of this better not.
Nah, there's some of it. There's some of it that's gonna air. But listen, guys, this is gonna be the energy that this podcast is on now. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. Not really. If you do, stay tuned because listen, we've got somebody with the OnlyFans coming on.
Yes.
We've got mental health. We've got talking about your purpose, accountability, social media. Listen, we've got a lot of things that me and Spencer got to talk about. We're still gonna have guests, so if you guys actually want to come on the podcast, you can hit me up. You can hit him up. But I want to take this in another direction. I genuinely believe in this podcast. I genuinely believe in everything that I've started and where it's going. And I know I'm breathing hard as fuck on this mic right now.
We still got to get all the particulars down.
Yeah, we're still, listen, I wish we would have recorded all this shit because if you guys see what we went through tonight, listen, we should have been done 2 hours ago. But listen, this was dope. I genuinely appreciate you guys for supporting me for almost 2 years now. Everything, bro, I get almost 100 hits, views, and listens on every episode. And for a nigga that don't know what the fuck he's doing and just
figuring out, just did it. See,
to me, that's a big deal.
That's a fact. See, I would still be planning. So like, this is why I appreciate this.
Listen, you and me gonna balance each other out.
That's
but
a fact.
This is what y'all got to look forward to, man.
Yes.
Spencer, we're gonna introduce a segment. It's a question that we're gonna ask at the end of every episode. Spencer put me up to this, but I like to end every episode with 15 seconds of fame. We do have multiple cameras, but not today. So look into that camera, talk your shit, shout out whoever you need to shout out, say what you need to say, and then I'm gonna ask the question, and we're gonna move on.
Keep it a buck. I didn't know who I was gonna shout out. I feel like I shout out everyone, but mainly shout out Get It Get Fit, shout out Leanne, shout out, wow, shout out, shout out, yo, listen, we gonna have a dope theme song that's coming for y'all, and y'all not ready for this. Some Connecticut-ish. Also, we about to listen. We got a lot of shit coming on. We got a lot of things going. Listen, I praise my boy Jacob for laying the foundation for this podcast. Because keep it a buck, I've been wanting to do a podcast for a minute. Him and I linked. He already laid the groundwork. I'm like, yo, listen, I got ideas. Let's get to it. So really, that's who I got to shout out right now. Shout out. only because my God, baby.
My fault.
And yo, listen, we want to hear.
We on shit, man.
We want to hear y'all feedback. Like, what do y'all want to talk about? If y'all want to hop on the podcast and talk about some shit, come talk some shit with us because there's no judgment here. We're gonna have an objective view, and we just want to hear what you got to talk about. So if we have opposing views, talk to us about it. Let's get it. Let's talk about what's on your mind, things that you might not necessarily say to other people, and let's get it.
Hey man, to echo all that, this is a safe, comfortable environment to have all the conversations that we all think about but don't have. I love this shit. I love this game. And it's crazy because I didn't even mean to say that. It just came out. I really do, man. I'm doing a lot in my life, and my close circle knows everything, but like, I was on the phone with one of my best friends today, and she was like, yo, keep me motivated. And there's days and times that I'm like, yo, what the fuck am I doing? But I have no idea how much I motivate and push people. And the way I keep y'all going, y'all keep me going. Real shit. So I appreciate everybody that supports me, loves me, pushes me to do whatever the fuck I'm doing. My brother, today, we were sitting in the living room, and he was like, yo, do you actually know what the fuck you're doing? I was like, Jeremy, I've been faking it till I make it to this point and beyond. And he just started laughing because, like, I'm figuring it out. You guys figure it out the way you go. But I say all that to say, I guess that was my 15 seconds of fame. Keep shining, keep grinding. I got a question. You want to say something before I ask the question?
Yeah. So my slogan, his is, I love this game. Mine is definitely do what you love. If you follow me on Instagram, I tagged on every getting.
What's your Instagram? We got to put it at the bottom of the screen.
Instagram is Spencer.Cephas, my first and last name.
Cephas.
If anyone wanted to stalk me, I make it real easy for you. But yeah, no, do what you love. No matter what you're doing in this world, just do what you love. Life is short. Enjoy it. Do everything to the best of your ability and get anything and everything you can out of life because you deserve it. So do what you love. That's my 15 seconds. And ask that question, bro.
Hey, I'm gonna ask a question and we just gonna get the fuck out of here because we gotta enjoy our Friday night. But
I'm hungry.
yeah, me too. Listen, like we said, we get into the nitty gritty, uncut, and everything. So, how do you tell somebody? And I put this shit on Twitter before I said it, so y'all can judge me. Nah, I don't give a fuck anymore. How do you tell somebody that you find attractive? Hey, I think you look like you taste good. I want answers.
Without sounding like,
without sounding like a creepy. That's a creepy fucking statement.
Because it's cancel culture and it's like, whoa, what you mean? You think I look like I taste good?
Right.
The thing is, women, the way they are, they're like, well, first of all, I do taste good, but I don't want you to say it.
Thank you.
So,
and we could talk about all that.
So, how do you say that to a woman? How would you want to hear that as a woman and not take it offensive?
Because you know what? Women want sex more than guys. I'm going to just say
Let's talk about it. That's an episode.
Listen, women want sex more than guys. But listen, if y'all want to cancel me, cancel this podcast after this fucking episode, then you missed out. Then you missed out. Period. So with all that being said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Stay safe. Keep being y'all. Whoever you are, be who you are. You are on your path for a fucking reason. Continue to grind. Continue to go through the ups and the downs and enjoy every fucking moment. With all that being said, this was a dope first episode of a new season.
Sir.
And that's a wrap.
Things coming. Hey.
I fucked with that.
That was hard.
I fucked with that. I fucked with that.
Yeah.
That was dope. I think we get canceled.
Yeah, we can't be too problematic to start off.
Wait,
we can work our way up.
All right. Stop talking. Can you hear that?